Alex stands in front of the guild desk, greeted by a smiling Sally, who hands him his new assignment. She looks extremely animated. Alex accepts the assignment with a determined expression, as if ready for something more. Sally, with surprise and disbelief in her eyes, suddenly asks how he defeated 513 wolves. Her face expresses shock, as if she can't believe that one man could handle so many creatures. Alex remains calm, showing confidence in his abilities. She continues to ask questions, still shaken. Alex tells her how he found the pack, just walking through the woods for about 15 minutes. He doesn't see it as surprising, but Salia knows that for wolves, such large packs are very rare. So, 100 in a pack is normal, but 500 is not, Alex pondered, thinking how lucky he was to have met so many opponents. He wondered if it was a bad day or, on the contrary, an extraordinary luck, because he had gained a lot of experience during this fight. Sally expresses her gratitude that Alex was not hurt in the battle, and offers to buy back the wolves' bodies to use their resources. Alex agrees, offering to sell 100 bodies without much thought. He does it as if in between, without much significance. Alex comes again to the blacksmith to ask him to repair his sword and shield. The old blacksmith with gray hair carefully examines their condition, realizing that they have been through many battles. Alex easily trusts him with his equipment, confident in his skill. The blacksmith asks Alex if he has hunted wolves. Then he adds that it happened 2 days ago. Examining the shield carefully, he easily determines from the dents and scratches that the shield was damaged by the claws of wolves, and realizes how many creatures Alex has already killed. The blacksmith continues, pointing to the sword. This sword you used to cut through multiple monsters at once. He asks Alex. His knowledge of the nature of weapons and experience in battle impresses Alex, and he respects the blacksmith's understanding. Alex, a little embarrassed, remarks that his success in battles is due not only to his improved stats, but also to the skill of the blacksmith himself. And he modestly agrees, but hesitantly adds that increasing stats doesn't give him the ability to wield a sword so well anyway. When the blacksmith finishes his work, he offers Alex to change his sword for a new one, although he adds that the shield is still in good condition. Alex, slightly surprised by this offer, thanks the blacksmith and thinks about possible changes in his equipment. The blacksmith looks at Alex and warns him that while his sword is quite strong, it is still made of ordinary iron. He adds that for his skill level, it would be better to have a spare sword in case of emergencies. Alex, interested in the possibility of improving his equipment, asks the blacksmith how much a sword made of dragon materials would cost. The blacksmith replies that the minimum price for a sword made of such materials starts at 4 billion, which causes Alex's shock. After learning the price, Alex is surprised at how expensive weapons made of dragon materials are. The blacksmith explains that dragons are too rare and are used only in legendary battles, so the dragon material costs a lot of money, and the dragons themselves are extremely difficult to obtain. Alex realizes that a sword made of dragon materials is not yet available to him and asks what material he should look at in his current situation. The blacksmith suggests he consider the metal from the iron lizard as an alternative. Alex wonders what an iron lizard is, and the blacksmith explains that it's a Class B monster covered in thick metal armor that makes it a dangerous opponent for normal swordsmen. The blacksmith continues his explanation by saying that the metal covering the iron lizard's skin is ideal for creating a strong sword. But he adds that if such a monster were to appear in a small town with few mages like theirs, the situation could become extremely dangerous. Alex agrees that perhaps he shouldn't encounter such creatures yet, but if he ever decides to pursue them, it will be a plan for the distant future. But the blacksmith confirms that iron lizard metal is better in strength than dragon materials. The next day, Alex notices that something strange is happening in the city. He is surprised to see the guild doors closed, which immediately raises questions about what could have happened. There are many people on the streets. Alex sees a note on the door of the guild, which says that all adventurers capable of fighting should immediately go to the forest gate to defend the city. A state of emergency has been declared, and all forces must be mobilized. Arriving at the gates, Alex watches as people gather in preparation for the upcoming battle. More people arrive. He feels anxious for his new home. Alex meets Sally and asks about the situation, what happened. Sally looks worried and prepares to explain, but she is too worried. Alex realizes that they need to get ready for battle. He is as ready as ever to fight. Alex realizes that they are facing a defensive battle at the city gates. he worries about the threat to him and the other adventurers. Sally asks Alex to support the defense on the front line, because the monsters are very strong, and she is sure that Alex will be able to do the task, because previously he performed the tasks very easily, even without much difficulty. Alex is surprised that he, a newcomer, is asked to take the front position, but at the same time, he realizes that there are no stronger adventurers in the guild. Alex agrees, realizing that his help will be crucial. He morally prepares for the upcoming battle. Physically, he is ready to rush into battle. Sally thanks Alex and asks him to be careful. Alex promises not to fail, and quickly heads to the front lines with the other adventurers, ready for battle. Alex rushes to the gate, preparing for battle, his determination and confidence growing, the others, including Sally, watching in surprise. In the forest, Alex immediately notices something suspicious among the trees. He prepares for an unexpected attack. He listens to every rustle. Alex picks up his sword and realizes that this is a great opportunity to gain experience. Despite the danger, he is determined to act. The protagonist is determinedly preparing to defend his guild from the monster invasion. He is determined to do everything he can to stop the enemies from destroying the guild. Despite the measures taken, his magical resources are limited. Even with the elixir of mana regeneration, he can maintain maximum spell power for no more than 20 minutes, forcing him to plan his actions carefully. An alarm sounds in his head, warning of approaching enemies. The hero concentrates and prepares to attack, watching as monsters appear on the horizon, snarling, and it's wolves again. Fighting the wolves, he decides to destroy everyone within range of his sword. With each swing of his sword, he easily pierces the enemies using his strength and skill. Alex realizes that magic will help him fight enemies beyond the reach of his sword. He uses powerful spells to strike monsters that remain at a distance. The hero's level increase has given him a significant advantage. His attacks have become stronger, and he is confident that he can deal with this threat despite the numerical superiority of the enemy. However, the situation changes dramatically when a giant boar appears in front of him. The threatening size and aggressive behavior of the beast forces the hero to gather his strength for an even more difficult battle. The hero reacts instantly to the boar's attack with the spell Stone Lance. The spell hits the boar, but even that doesn't stop it, and the battle continues. The giant boar, despite his wounds, continues his furious attacks. He rushes forward with incredible force, and the hero realizes that this beast has a special ability, a powerful jerk. Realizing that this is the monster Sally warned him about, the hero begins to assess the strength and capabilities of the enemy, preparing for the decisive moment of the battle. A giant boar looms menacingly above the ground, displaying its might. On the screen of its characteristics, Strength 250, Agility 60, Alex in the distance, preparing for a fierce battle with this powerful opponent. Alex concentrates on the situation and realizes that the 7 stone spears have reduced his health by only 30%, enough to take out 10 wolves. He realizes how strong the boar is, but continues to fight with determination. Alex is surprised. He doesn't understand what happened. Thinking about the victory he won, he tries to understand how the boar's health suddenly dropped by 70%, assuming he struck a fatal blow. Alex stands next to the disappearing body of the monster, thinking about the strange movements of the monsters, but he is glad that he was able to defeat the enemy. Alex thinks about the strange behavior of the monsters, realizing that unlike the wolves I met earlier, these ones seem to be running away from something. He decides to go to the place where the monsters came from to find out the reason for what is happening. Alex, watching the movement of the wolves, discovers a huge wave of creatures running straight at them from the depths of the forest. And again, he prepares for the next battle. A multitude of wolves rushed straight at Alex, his eyes widening in surprise as he realized the magnitude of the impending attack, becoming a little uneasy. Alex encounters the running wolves and begins to realize that they are running for a reason, his face full of determination as he realizes that there must be something more behind it. Alex stands behind a tree, watching the wolves. Ahead among the trees, more opponents appear. The wolves growl and rush forward, preparing for another attack. He sees something, From the darkness of the forest appears a huge dragon-like creature. Its deafening roar spreads through the surroundings. Alex faces an even more powerful enemy, realizing that the battle with this monster will be decisive. A huge creature with impressive characteristics, strength 1200, agility 164, Alex realizes that he is facing a very dangerous opponent. His speed and strength will be a real test. Alex realizes that he is facing the metal lizard Dovrag mentioned. All the monsters have fled from him, and although his health is lower than that of a boar, it will be extremely difficult to penetrate his armor. Alex is thinking about the situation, about going back to the guild and reporting. He realizes that fighting this lizard alone would be a bad idea. His eyes are wary of the enemy's movements. The lizard lets out a terrifying roar and comes at Alex with incredible speed, threatening to destroy everything in its path. Alex realizes that the monster is ready to attack. It is simply huge. The speed of this lizard is faster than the protagonist. He wonders if he can escape. Alex panics. He realizes that the enemy is much faster than he thought. Alex catches up with the lizard. He realizes that retreat is no longer an option. Retreat is more suitable. The lizard is getting closer, and the hero prepares for the final battle. Alex realizes that physical attacks are useless against a metal lizard with such strong armor. Alex seriously thinks about other battle tactics. Alex begins to think if he focuses his magical energy for a minute, he can increase the power of his spells, which can help to deal with this monster. Gathering all his magical energy, Alex launches a powerful fireball. The flames envelop the lizard, and Alex hopes that it will destroy its armor, or at least weaken it. However, despite the power of the spell, Alex is horrified to notice that the lizard is practically unharmed. The protagonist wondered why the monster did not get a single scratch. Alex faces a fast and powerful blow of the lizard. He dodges at the last moment, but the sharp jerk of the enemy causes him confusion and pain. The lizard attacks with incredible force, knocking Alex off his feet. The protagonist cries out in pain, but despite this, continues to fight, realizing that the monster is stronger than ever. The monster continues its fierce attacks. Alex barely manages to dodge, but his strength is gradually running out. He realizes that every slip could be fatal for him. The lizard only grazed his leg, but broke the bone. Alex struggles to get up, glad that he has mastered healing magic, but he realizes that a direct hit will be instant death for him. Alex sees before him images of the people who trusted him. He is determined to stop the monster from approaching the guild and harming his friends. Alex repeats the words that he must win. With determination in his eyes, Alex develops a new plan. He has no choice but to create a new magic spell to resist the power of the lizard. Alex tries to activate his new spell, but it doesn't work. He is confused whether he needs to fulfill another condition to activate it. Alex realizes that this is very bad, that his current magical skills may not be enough to win, and again the lizard approaches with a fierce roar. Alex remembers that his magic can build up and grow stronger with each passing moment, giving him hope in battle, despite the dangerous proximity of the enemy. Alex begins to remember everything he has been taught, realizing that the only way to penetrate this hard armor is to use a special technique, similar to that used to penetrate tank armor. And the name of this magic is pressure magic. Alex has found a way to increase his power to break through the impenetrable armor of the enemy, because he just has to defeat the Ion Emptor. Alex realizes that now it will be a game of luck, and decides to put everything on the line, investing the remaining 9,000 units of magical energy in new magic, realizing the danger of his decision. You need to hold it for 15 minutes to hold it, Alex strategizes, to hold out against the lizard's attacks, using the knowledge of its attacks that he has used before, especially its tail strike. If Alex uses his martial arts skill, he will be able to anticipate its movements and calculate which way it will hit. He prepares for the next attack by reading the lizard's movements. The protagonist realizes that he must repel its attack. Alex confidently blocks the blow, but admits that he is very hurt. The monster continues to attack with great force. 15 minutes have passed, and Alex has completed his preparations. He is ready to deliver the decisive blow while the lizard lets out a furious roar, ready to attack again. Now we need to find his weak point in his armor. Alex carefully studies the body of the lizard to choose the most vulnerable part for his attack and strike back. And it's probably the back of his body, Alex thinks. He identifies a place where the lizard rarely gets hit and prepares for his decisive attack, hoping it will bring results. The lizard growls angrily, noticing that Alex is preparing to strike at his weak spot. He realizes the threat posed by the hero. Alex rushes forward with full determination and shouting, ready to deliver the final blow that could change the outcome of this difficult battle. Alex gathers all his strength, shouting that this is his final attack, and rushes into the fight, putting everything he has left into the final blow. Using his pressure magic, Alex attacks the lizard, striking a powerful blow. The magical energy swirls around him, creating a devastating spell. Alex thinks it worked. The lizard lets out a painful roar as the magic pierces his defenses. He begins to realize his doom, but he can no longer defend himself against the powerful pressure that our hero used. Alex also screams with tension and pain, facing the fury of his opponent. The final fight becomes unbearably hard for both. Alex is in unbearable pain. At the moment of impact, Alex rushes forward with fiery determination, and his magic deals decisive damage to the monster, breaking its armor. It worked. Did I win? Thought Alex. He tensely watches as the lizard makes its last sounds and its body falls down. Our hero is still in shock that he was able to do it. Realizing the victory, Alex smiles with relief, thinking, I did it. I defeated him single-handedly. His body relaxes, and his soul is filled with a sense of triumph, despite the pain and fatigue after the battle. Alex has reached level 20 with 621 units of health and 1051 tier units of magical energy. His strength and dexterity parameters are much lower than his intelligence and agility, indicating that his fighting style is more magical than physical. Alex checks his surroundings using the radar. There is no activity on it, indicating that the monsters are retreating. He worries if his friends are safe and continues to move towards the guild. Suddenly, Alex is called out by someone. Sally appears on his way. She ran to him, screaming with joy that he was alive. She was obviously worried about the protagonist and rushes to him when she notices that he is back. Sally continues to rebuke Alex for acting on his own, reminding him that the monsters have already retreated and he shouldn't have risked his life on his own. Sally emotionally blames Alex for making her worry so much. Her reaction shows how much she was worried about him. And although Alex apologizes, he is surprised by this emotional outburst. Sally mentions that she didn't ask Alex to go on a suicide mission, but Alex tries to justify himself by saying that he was following her orders to destroy as many monsters as possible on the front lines. Alex seems to recall that he actually met a metal lizard during his reconnaissance activities, to which Sally exclaims in horror that such a monster is too dangerous an opponent. Sally panics and declares that it is necessary to gather mages to fight the threat, but Alex calmly informs her that he has already defeated the monster, which shocks her. Alex explains that it was probably because he defeated the metal lizard that the other monsters decided to retreat, his confident face showing the satisfaction of a job well done. Sully begins to realize that Alex is indeed incredibly strong for a sword wizard. It is mentioned that he could probably use wind magic, which surprises him even more. Sally explains the standard strategy for defeating a lizard. She says it requires a team of mages of rank C or higher, using wind magic to lift the monster into the air and fire magic to burn it from within, bypassing its defenses. Alex calmly declares that he has broken through the lizard's armor with magic, but Sally doubts his words because the metal lizard's armor is considered impenetrable by ordinary means. Alex offers to show the body of the defeated monster from his inventory. Sally begins to suspect that perhaps the lizard Alex encountered had weaker armor. Alex confirms that he has the body of the lizard in his inventory. Sally is surprised at the size of his inventory space and begins to examine the monster's armor for signs of penetration. Alex lifts Sally up to show her the hole in the armor, which embarrasses her, and she reacts with embarrassment to his sudden action because Alex is attracted to her. She is embarrassed and asks him to put her down, to which he apologetically responds and puts her down. Sally is very embarrassed by Alex's actions, however she liked the gesture. Sally is surprised at how big the hole Alex's magic has left. She assumes that his magic is different from the normal magic of their world. something she hadn't noticed before. Alex thanks Sally for her help in examining the monster. She promises to report the success to her superiors and thank Alex for defeating the lizard. Sally informs Alex that Alex will also have to go on the next mission. Alex, surprised, clarifies whether it really concerns him, because he has just returned from the battlefield. Alex decides to leave the guild and go to a city of blacksmiths called Herrera, where he will face a new adventure and new monsters. Alex thinks about the fact that the strongest monsters are gorgons. This creates an atmosphere of danger and tension before the protagonist sets off on his new journey. The protagonist decides to say goodbye to those who have helped him during his adventures. He is still preparing for his departure, and time allows him to thank those who have been there for him. Alex recalls that Dovra, who, as it turns out, predicted that Alex would go on the journey. This confirms his wisdom and experience, as well as hints at the long-standing connection between them. Alex brings Sally the same healing herb as a gift. His cordial greeting shows that he still remembers those who were important to his progress and expresses his gratitude for their help. Alex informs Sally that he has decided to leave the guild. This news shocks her, and it is evident from her reaction. Alex's decision indicates a new stage in his journey, as he decides to leave his familiar surroundings. Alex is about to go to another guild to make a new weapon. Sally wonders how rare an event it is for adventurers to move between guilds. Sally realizes that Alex will soon leave the guild and go elsewhere. She is a little concerned about his departure, but tries to reassure herself and others by saying that everything will be fine. The protagonist explains that the abnormally high number of wolves was caused by the presence of a metal lizard that he had already defeated, again emphasizing his strength and success in previous battles. Alex reflects on how lucky he is to have met Sally. He is grateful to have found such a kind and understanding person who has supported him throughout his journey. Alex says goodbye to Sally, thanking her for everything she has done for him. His words are filled with hope that their paths will cross again someday. Alex says goodbye to Sally, handing her a sprig of grass. He expresses his hope that they will meet again in the future. Sally accepts the grass. Her emotions are mixed, but she thanks him. Sally replies to Alex with a smile that they will definitely meet again. Their goodbye is filled with warmth, and it is the final moment of their conversation before parting. The mountain scenery symbolizing the path that Alex has to take is shrouded in mixed feelings, which emphasizes the emotional severity of the separation. On the 5th day of his journey, Alex is on his way to the town of Herrera, and he estimates that the journey will take about 10 days on horseback, but he does not have a horse. Alex finally sees Herrera in the distance. The city is surrounded by mountains, and Alex wonders if this is the place he has been longing for since he came to this world. Alex senses on radar the presence of several people moving through the forest despite the presence of a road. He suggests that this may be due to its recent amplification. Alex notices silhouettes on his radar that look familiar to him, which gives him an uneasy feeling, but he's not sure who he's seeing yet. The deep, dark forest creates an atmosphere of the unknown and the hidden threat that may await Alex in the near future. Frozen, he stares into the depths. Alex observes a group of people who seem to have tied up the girl. He realizes that they are probably the bandits Sally was talking about, and he has to make a decision on how to proceed. Alex reflects on the fact that people who have committed crimes in this world are called gangsters. It becomes clear to him that those who have crossed the line are now a threat. Alex observes the bandits who have kidnapped a girl from the village of Herrera. He realizes that the situation is serious, and he needs to take action to rescue her. But before acting, he decides to make sure that the bandits in front of him are really bandits. Using the magic of assessment, Alex confirms that all 6 people in front of him are bandits. Now he has no doubt that it is necessary to intervene and free the prisoner. Alex realizes that this will be his first fight against humans. Despite all his training and fights with monsters, the fight with living people makes him a little uneasy, but his determination to win remains unshakable. One of the bandits steps aside under the pretext that he needs to go to the toilet. The others do not suspect that this moment will give Alex the opportunity to attack their camp, taking advantage of the element of surprise. When the bandit leader hears a noise, he sends 2 of his underlings to check what's going on, and they head towards the source of the sound, not yet knowing that it's a setup trap. The 2 bandits find a broken branch and are surprised not realizing what has happened, at which point Alex is already preparing to attack, watching them from cover. Alex unexpectedly attacks one of the bandits, using his magic, his speed, and accuracy, surprising his opponents, forcing them to act chaotically. Alex uses pressure magic to stun the bandits. Even though it is a weak version of the spell, it still has enough effect to knock the enemies down. All the bandits are surprised by the sudden attack and begin to panic. Alex uses this confusion to his advantage. Continuing his rapid onslaught, they were clearly not expecting an attack. The leader of the bandits, stunned by the attack, is trying to understand who is attacking them. Because they have not met before, Alex, hiding under his hood, is preparing for the final phase of the battle. The protagonist watches what happened to the bandits. It was easier to defeat them than one wolf, Alex thought. And the bandits were writhing in pain. The effect of magic had worked as it should. Although the hero wanted to capture them alive, his magic was too powerful, and as a result all the bandits were killed. He has no regrets, believing that it is a necessary action in this world. Using his score analysis, Alex looks at the information of the unknown girl lying in front of him. Looking at her scores, Alex feels sorry for her. Alex keeps looking at the information board. He is disappointed at how hard it is for this girl. She is under the influence of forced hypnosis, which makes it difficult to save her. The protagonist holds the girl in his arms and ponders the nature of hypnosis. Not understanding how to get rid of this condition even with his skills, he hopes that the city can help her. Entering the gate, Alex sees that two guards and a dwarf are looking at him puzzled. One of the guards looks especially tense, obviously ready for any surprises. The dwarf rushes forward, seething with anger, unleashing his accusations on the protagonist. He, without losing his composure, tries to explain that nothing bad has happened, but his words are drowned in the screams of the furious father, who fears for his daughter. One of the guards eases the tension, realizing that Alex has saved the girl. He smiles, trying to defuse the situation, while he explains what happened. The dwarf, suddenly confused, stops and starts listening. The dwarf, having learned the truth, instantly changes his attitude. He thanks the protagonist for saving his daughter, and another guard offers to take care of the girl, assuring that she will quickly recover with the help of the necessary medicine. Smiling, the guards explain that the gnome's anger was caused by his concern for his daughter. They persuade him to calm down. The gnome apologizes to Alex, realizing his mistake. When the dwarf approached Alex, his eyes shining with gratitude, he was incredibly happy to have his daughter back, and offered Alex any help he might need in this city. Alex accepted the dwarf's offer. Alex tried to take advantage of the situation and asked the dwarf about a blacksmith who could help with the processing of the metal lizard. But the dwarf, overwhelmed with joy, paid no attention and invited Alex to the celebration. Sighing when the dwarf left without listening to him, Alex realized that he shouldn't blame him. After all, the return of his kidnapped daughter was a great joy. But his attention was attracted by the tools around, reminiscent of Dovra's workshop. He wondered if it was possible that this dwarf was related to the same blacksmith. The feast began. The dwarves were happily raising their cups, celebrating Sabrina's return. The tables were filled with various food and drinks. The atmosphere was lively and cheerful. Alex was watching from the side, a little embarrassed by such attention and noisy fun. During the celebration, Sabrina came to Alex, thanked him for the rescue, although she did not remember the details of what had happened. Alex was sympathetic to her condition, realizing that the stress she had experienced could have affected her memory. Sabrina noticed that Alex didn't look like an ordinary adventurer. She was interested in him and offered to show him around the neighborhood or help him with any questions. Alex appreciated her friendliness and decided to accept the offer, hoping that it would help him find the blacksmith he was looking for.